It's the most exciting time of the week. It's Top That Trade, featuring Phil Flynn, a Fox Business Network contributor, and options trading pro. Alan Nuckman set for a few rounds in our trader game. Let's go with the bell, guys. The Dow 10, the streak of new records, is really being driven by 10 stocks. Which one do you buy now?
Woohoo! Which one don't you buy now is the question,
Yeah, I guess
right?
that could be the question. But the S&P has been driven by these 10 companies. These
Correct.
10
Name 'em.
companies
Name two.
make up $5 trillion in market cap, which is
Okay.
25% of the S&P market cap. So these stocks have had a big move, and they're all very up near their highs. But I think there are a couple Dow stocks. There are 4 Dow stocks that are still in the red for 2017. Exxon, Chevron, GE, Intel, and Verizon. Actually, that's 5 stocks.
Well, I think we mentioned GE in a previous show, and Exxon.
Right.
I agree. I like all of those stocks that are too high. But I think the bigger question is, are these 10 stocks making the undue risk for the global stock market? I mean, are these 10 stocks too big?
Because it's
to
too
fail?
heavy.
It's too heavy.
Too
the
too
whole
big to
world
fail?
is being driven
Too big
by,
to fail?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Remember, we had
Well,
Enron.
the stocks are
Remember
Google,
Enron almost right?
Microsoft,
Sure.
Facebook.
Right.
A lot of it is tech. So if
Yeah.
you're going to trade that sector, trade the Qs, trade the NDX, and don't have the individual stock
Yeah.
risk.
Yeah, but don't laugh it off. Remember, the biggest stock in the
JP
Dow used to be
Morgan.
U.S. Steel, for heaven's sakes, or are these stocks that aren't even in there anymore?
Johnson & Johnson,
Yeah.
Comcast, Exxon, and Mr. Buffett,
Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire
So
Hathaway.
It's very
Berkshire.
interesting that these 5 companies have gotten so big.
It's so big, and it is amazing. It's amazing the Berkshire Hathaway could be the diversification because they own a lot of these stocks
Right,
that
that's
are in the
true.
top 10.
Round number 2, acrophobia. Are you afraid of heights? Gold, oil, and stocks are multiple month highs. Are you worried about tumbling assets?
You always have to be worried about tumbling assets, but no, especially the markets that we're looking at. Every one of these markets looks like they're poised on a major breakout. And you have to remember, when we look at the stock market, when we look at gold, when we look at oil, these are all assets that got crushed over the last couple of
Reflation.
years.
So these are reflated assets now.
Reflated assets
If you
are
look at
undervalued.
oil, 80 is the halfway point of the all-time high to that sell-off. Gold is $1,400. So we still have more upside. The only one that I'm really concerned about that I think is going to sell off is
What?
the VIX. The VIX right now is 15% off its lows, and it has not made new lows, even though the stock market continues to make new highs every single day.
So you don't think there's enough fear in the market every single day?
I think the VIX is going to come back down just as it has each and every time for
So
the
you
past
think there's
7
going to
years.
be less fear as the market goes higher?
Yes.
So you think we're going to see building confidence?
Yes.
That's scary. That's
You've
scary.
built a lot of confidence the last couple of weeks, last couple of months.
Thank you. All right, but but when going back to this point about these assets, when we look at oil, we could be seeing some generational moves. I mean, this market reminds me of the 1980s. It really does.
I was just a little
early
I was
80s.
just a little trader
He was
back
a
then.
little trader back then. He used to keep hanging around and say, "Get away from me,
My
kid."
first
No, I didn't say
investment
that.
was a company that got bought out by American Airlines.
Was it really? All right, very good.
So that's luck.
But anyway, I'm saying, you remember we went through the Carter's years. Everything was doom and gloom on the stock market. You had a new president come in, Ronald Reagan,
Very
made a few
similar.
changes. You had a
Very
very
similar.
explosive move. So this reminds me of the 80s all over. So bring back the 80s. I love it.
Round number 3, cash king. Europe is moving away from paper money. What happens when cash is no longer king?
There you go. This is scary.
You know what's scary?
Yeah.
Bitcoin's gone from $200 back up to $1,200.
Right.
So if it approaches those highs, a full V recovery targets then 2,400 in the Bitcoin.
Well,
Remember,
you
just
know,
a couple years
yeah.
ago, it was back to worthless almost.
But you know what? I'll tell you, Jim Rogers, who we work with at the Price
Right.
Futures Group quite a bit, he came out with he's very concerned about this lack of paper money. And what he looks at it is more government control. Because the more you get rid of paper money, the government
They can
can
track
know
you.
everything you do, what you buy, when you buy it, how much you're buying it. So it really is about less privacy when you talk about this paper
The
money.
one
'cause they
paper
know
money that I
everything.
like at this level, the dollar hasn't made new highs since January 3rd, so it's been a long time.
Right.
But the one paper currency I like is the yen. I think the yen's got much more upside appreciation. And if there is any market shock, there's usually a flight to quality in the yen.
I like the yen as well, and the European currencies. I don't know; they're really kind of mixed here.
Let me
right
tell
now.
you about cash. One thing about cash.
Right.
Did you know this?
You never have any. I know
Well,
that.
no. The top 3 banks
I
made
keep him on a
$6.4
ledger.
billion in overdraft fees.
I saw that.
When you run out of cash.
Right.
$6.4 billion. They only make $1 billion
Right.
on ATM fees. So they make more money by giving you money that you don't have.
Right. I thought the regulators were supposed to fix that. Obama
not
was
so,
supposed
but
to
it didn't.
fix all
Actually,
that.
they made an extra $300 million last year,
Yeah.
more than they did the year before.
Well, I thought
so
they were supposed to fix that, but
never
the
got
bottom
fixed.
line is you got to be careful with those fees. But I'll tell you another thing:
less regulation.
Less regulation. No, what you need to get back to is, I remember the funny stuff. Remember during the financial crisis, the market
That
was
wasn't
crashing.
funny.
No, but the one funny part about it was
That wasn't funny.
Citibank stock fell to almost 50 cents or
Yeah,
something.
it was like $1.
Like $1. And then the question then was, do you buy a share of Citi or do you pay your ATM fee? And I couldn't decide which way to go, so I paid my ATM fee.
So I was depositing
Yes.
Citi shares in the little check
That's
deposit.
right. Every time you
Yeah,
could,
okay.
get an ATM fee, and then you could get a share. They could have just spit out a share of stock at
All
the
right.
ATM.
Final question.
Here's your bonus round question for today. Baseball, according to reports, is having some trouble off the field. What is the issue?
Ooh, the games are too long and falling ratings. Games are too long. Games are too long.
They don't let girls play.
Well, that too.
Both of you
Actually,
are
girls kinda-
wrong.
What do you mean we're wrong?
Well, you're both wrong.
What?
The answer is half the audience is 55 or older.
Well, let's leave Alan out of
Hey,
this. I don't
oh,
think
I was
that's
gonna
fair.
say.
I know.
I was
Come
gonna
on.
say, and that's
There we go.
bad. How?
Thank you so much, guys. Stay on our field. Business First AM continues after